Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Draft Show. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel because we are getting ourselves closer to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And hey, if the T20 Blast is anything to go like, maybe a little insanity, we'll get there a bit quicker. None of this nudging and nerdling. Just subscribe, please, because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Helps us out. That'd be brilliant. My name's Dan Jadzovic, joined by Dan Weston. Dan, how are you? And how did you enjoy finals day?
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm well. I didn't really get a chance to watch a great deal of finals day because I was on holiday on a cruise and we were on a sea day when the finals day was on. But I did see some highlights and yeah, had a lot of friends playing in the finals day, so it was an interesting watch, and I'm pleased on a personal level that some of them did well as well.
A great day, the best day on the domestic calendar, in my personal opinion. Other people can have different opinions, but you're just wrong. So it's the best day. That's how it works. Thank you to Neon Cricket for sponsoring this week's episode. If you want to stand out from the crowd, then jump on their website. The link can be found in the description of this video and check out their amazing bat range and loads of other great kit. Finals day, Dan, what were the highlights for you? What were the highlights of the highlights, Dan, that you managed to watch your finals day for 2025?
Well, I think Smee's innings in the final was the real highlight. But I think overall we saw the South Group dominance again with Somerset and Hampshire making it through the semi-finals to get to the final. And yeah, when's that going to stop?
When is it going to stop? I don't know. I don't know. For me, you can't look past Chris Lynn, can you? I hadn't even realised the fact that there hadn't been 100 scored on finals day in the history of that format of
I didn't know.
the finals
Yeah.
day. It's mad, isn't it, to think of the years and the games that would have been played, that was the first ever one. So yeah, bit of insanity back in business. Fantastic. It wasn't quite enough to get it done in the final, so congratulations to Somerset for winning their third title of their history, their celebrations. I mean, they're a great club down there. They build white ball teams well, don't they, Dan?
Yeah, probably had the most stat top four in the last 4 or 5 years of the tournament, and with overseas pace bowlers coming in as well and helping them out in that area. So they've clearly got a game plan, and it's clearly working really well for them. So fair play. Sometimes in cricket you don't see teams have that coherently organised game plan on a consistent basis, but they definitely have that, and fair play to them for it.
Yeah, they certainly do. And why didn't either of us just fill our team up full of Somerset players then, Dan? If we're
Well,
so complimentary of them, what did we do wrong?
Well, I went for Hampshire players instead. I mean, to be fair, a top three of Vince, Albert, and Chris Lynn treated me well on finals day. I'm not going to lie. And I had Scott Curry with the ball. I wanted to try and get in Chris Wood, but I had to compromise with Sonny Baker in the end in terms of price and getting enough Hampshire players in the squad. So yeah, overall, I think some good picks there, even in defeat from the Hampshire team, and I still had Coda Cadmore and I think Craig Overton as well in my team.
Yeah,
Thomas.
I backed the Steelbacks and unfortunately it just didn't quite work out for them. I had four in the lineup. I felt if because look, we'll get onto it. Congratulations to you, Dan. You pipped me in the Blast League. You've got me by about 600 points, I think. So fair play to you. You've done incredibly well over the course of the season. But I felt like I needed to go for a team that you weren't going to go for in order to try and kind of bring that back. I don't know if 800 points or 600 points would have even been possible, but that was the logic used, and unfortunately, it didn't quite go to plan, did it? You don't lose 3 wickets in a power play and win many games of T20 cricket in 2025. So Somerset, fantastic. Hampshire, you backed the right. Well, you backed the horse in second place, so you've done well enough to get 2 games of cricket out of most of your players. And I backed the one that fell at the second fence, so not ideal. Those of you that have been playing, the overall leaderboard though, the top five. So congratulations to all of you that have made this top five. Those of you that have won your leagues as well. But in fifth place, Karthikeya Manchela with just under 17,500 points. Craig Doherty just over 17,500 points in fourth. Stuart Smith in at third, so the bronze medal going to Stuart Smith. Andy Ball at second place with 17,807. And then Nick French taking the trophy overall for the cricket draft for the Blast. And the only person in the game, Dan, to tick over 18,000 points.
Yeah, incredibly impressive performance there, and I reckon must be about 2,500 points above us. So was that work out at about 200 points a game week? So fantastic effort there.
That'll be us one day, Dan, I'm sure.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. Hey, if I can sneak into the top 100 of something, Dan, I think I'd be pretty happy for that as starters. But some young guns, Dan. They've had fantastic tournaments. We've got 5 here noted down. We've got Toby Albert with his strike rate of 150 and 533 runs. 6 million on the game. Ben Kellaway, he's obviously famous for that left arm, right arm bowling action, but 262 runs, 150 strike rate, plus 10 wickets, just over 5 million quid. There's no way in 26 he's going to be that cheap. Ned Leonard, he missed the first 4 games of the season for Glamorgan and got 20 wickets. James Coles, who was on the show the other week, and Rayan Ahmed. But who was your standout, Dan? Was it one of those 5, or was it someone further afield than that?
Well, I think there's some impressive performances there from these guys. Absolutely, good. Still, even though he's been an established player for a while, still good to see Will Smeed as a young gun as well. Obviously, with that match-winning contribution in the final. But Toby Albert, I've been really impressed with actually this season, both in terms of TCD performances. He's been in my team for a while, but also just generally with the kind of array of shot options that he has, and I think that this is a player on a good upward curve. I think that the James Coles has had a great year as well. I mean, just him and Rayhan being spinners who bat in the top order or middle order is just such a rare skill set. So yeah, fair play to them as well. I think that they're exceptional talents.
Yeah, it's a white ball machine, isn't there, churning out cricketers in England at the minute. And we'll go on to some of these players that we think that could be on the radar for those England guys in those future tours and series and World Cups and things like that. But some overseas performance, we've spoke about Chris Lynn already. 222 runs in 3 games with 250s and 100 at a strike rate of 198. Anybody that brought him into the team, you'll be laughing. Chris Green, I had in my team for a lot of the time, 7.7 million up at Lancashire. Only played 14 games, 180 runs, 21 wickets. Hassan Ali rolling the years back, 25 wickets in 12 games. And the Steelbacks, Matt Bretsky, 7.9 million, 403 runs in 11 games. And Bretsky has just signed one of those long-term contracts for the Steelbacks as well. So that'll be exciting news for Steelbacks fans. Any other overseas cricketer, Dan, that you want to talk about through the Blast, or are they the 4 big guns?
Well, certainly in the latter stages of the tournament, I've been really, really minded to keep domestic players in my squad because of the availability concerns between the end of the group stages and the knockouts, obviously being such a huge chasm of weeks between these stages. So I've been very minded to keep domestic players in rather than overseas. But very impressed with some of these guys. Obviously Chris Lynn with an immediate impact in short stint at Hampshire. Chris Green, I think, deserves a lot of credit. It's 21 wickets at a low economy with good contributions with the bat as well. I think that shows you the value of a genuine all-rounder again in this game, and someone who bats in sort of top 6, top 7. And bowls his full quota of overs more often than not is gold dust in the TCD. So I think that's really indicative of a good strategy side from a good strategy side of things.
Yeah, high match involvement. There's get that on a big card. I tell you what, when we start launching our cricket draft merchandise, high match involvement, I reckon should definitely be on a cap or a t-shirt somewhere, shouldn't
100%.
it? With these T20 comps. England watch. There's a few names here. We've spoken about a few of them already, about ones that might be in line for an England call or an England checkout, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but we've put together a list here of Nye Donald, Dan Douthwaite, Toby Albert, James Coles, Ethan Brooks, Will Smeed, and Dan Mousley. I'll get your thoughts, Dan. But for me at the minute, I'd love to see Nye Donald um, on the radar. I don't necessarily see these guys walking into a squad just yet, but I see them getting picked up in these extra T20 leagues around the world over the winter, based on the performances they've put together this summer.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the natural stepping point for a lot of these players. Obviously, out of those names that you mentioned, probably Will Smith had more franchise exposure than everybody else. Played PSL and SA20 and ILT20, so he's probably a little bit further along in the journey than the rest of them in that respect. I think James Coles could be a real good option for teams in these leagues, and I think that he's definitely got really solid England potential in just that dual skill set, and they love a spinner who bats in the top order as well. So we've seen Rayhan Ahmed in that role recently in the series against Ireland, batting high up the order and bowling as well. So there's clearly a production line of players in that area and that skill set. Nye is could be a real asset to some teams in franchise cricket. I mean, yeah, I sort of spoke to him about T10 being a really good opportunity for him in terms of the way that he goes about his game, and I think he could be a fantastic pickup for some of the teams in T10, for example.
Yeah, I would imagine he will certainly be on the scouting cards for a few teams, I would have thought, over the winter. Finally, just before we wrap this episode up, we've put together our dream teams for the Blast. I don't know whether you did, Dan, but I managed to get my team within the budget as well,
Just
and
about.
left my kind of 18.5 million kind of for the bench and whoever's never going to get on the field. But do you want to run us through your dream team and tell us why some of those players have made it?
I was definitely scraping the barrel with the four substitute spots. I think I had about 16.5 million to split between four of them. But my team was as Nye Donald, Will Smith, Toby Albert, Will Jacks, David Willey, Sam Curran, Dan Douthwaite, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Ben Dwarshuis, Hassan Ali, and Ben Sanderson. Now, look, I think a couple of notable honourable mentions in that team. Nye Donald with one of the highest boundary percentages that I've seen in any Blast season period, and he had an unbelievable comp. And then obviously Smeeb in the final, and just being another good year for him. Toby Albert we've mentioned already. Will Jacks, I think he's the only player in a TCD game week, definitely in the Blast for me, who's got over 1,100 points for me in one game week. So thank you very much, Will Jacks, for that. That was great. He was captain, and I think they played 3 games in that game week, and he had a great week, so that was good. I think Dave Willey, Dan Douthwaite have been mainstays in a lot of people's teams, and certainly Douthwaite in particular was a great option for me. And then with the ball, I think you've got a couple, particularly Dwarshuis, as well as Hassan Ali, but particularly Dwarshuis is sort of miscategorised as a bowler rather than an all-rounder. I think that he was a really good pickup, given the fact that his batting has improved so much in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's a good team, and mine isn't that dissimilar, to be fair. There's a few different names in there, but my batters I've gone up the top. I've gone Nye Donald, Toby Albert, and Tom Kohler-Cadmore at the top of the order. Nye Donald played one of the most ridiculous innings I've seen in my life when Derbyshire visited Wantage Road earlier this summer. I've gone for some of the same all-rounders: Will Jacks, Dan Douthwaite, my 2 all-rounders. Dave Willey is in there. He was the MVP for the competition altogether. He was brilliant with bat, brilliant with ball in hand, and incredible in the field, incredibly committed, and some of the best hands that you'll ever possibly wish to see. By that I mean he's good at catching. I'm sure his hands are quite nice as well. James Coles is in there too, because he was an influential part of Sussex's kind of late charge to the playoffs. Matt Bretsky takes the gloves for me. I don't know, would it have been a different thing for the Steelbacks had he been available for finals day? Maybe, who knows. Sanderson's in there as well, just a font of youth, I guess. He's kind of he's learnt a new skill set, and he's making people look silly. Riley Meredith, he was cheap on this game for Somerset. He bowled absolute rockets, took big wickets, and he was cheap as well. So any of you guys that had him throughout the course of the tournament, fair play to you. And similar vein, Ben Dwarshuis to round out my 11 based on that same logic, Dan. But there we go. There is the 2025 Cricket Draft wrap episode. Thank you, Dan, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for playing. We're nearly at the end of the season now, Dan. We've got what, a couple of weeks left of Championship cricket, and then we need to find out what we need to do over the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it never stops in the world of cricket. Obviously, with the calendar, you've got to say the last couple of weeks of the Championship, which is going to be fascinating in terms of that relegation battle in particular in Div 1, but also the title race as well. And then, yeah, probably, what is it, for TCD players, probably a couple of months off before the Big Bash starts. It's a lot of time for you to prepare and build those spreadsheets ahead of the BBL.
Don't you worry, Dan, I won't be doing that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you very soon.